Thank you so much for watching UBC News tonight. My name is Sharon Chamdisha with Nakakoni Elizabeth on Sign Language. We'll take a look at the headlines. NASA's demand for representation in Parliament. Bishop Emeritus Augustine Salimo is dead. EAC to collaborate in oil and gas sector. Motocross fans pay tribute to their mothers. In our top stories today, President Yoweri Museveni has commended the people of Omoro district in their Choli sub-region for choosing great leaders. Now, the president was addressing residents of Omoro district during celebrations marking the victory of Lamwaka, who was returned woman MP in the previous general elections. The celebrations took place at Opit Primary School grounds in Opit Town Council. The Presidential Press Unit covered the story.
President Museveni, while at a Thanksgiving function of Honorable Catherine Lamwaka in Omoro district, commended the people of Omoro in Acholi sub-region for choosing good leaders.
Kopango Lwakme Omoro, I come to thank you because politics is about choosing the yo. Do you take this yo or this one? When you take a wrong yo, you end up with the wrong results.
The president also lauded the remarkable achievements of the NRM in the area following the establishment of peace in the region, as well as the defeat of Kalimajong cattle rustlers.
The NRM has been able to control the cattle rustlers in Karamoja.
NRM berukikero me jokolo timaranyo no yago dianki Karamoja.
And remove the guns from them.
Kwanyo benem dugo godon ki chingo jong ma yago dian.
We have been able to deal with the terrorists like Kony and ADF and all those.
Mr. Museveni urged the people of Omoro district in particular and Acholi sub-region in general that following the realization of stability in northern Uganda, it was incumbent on the residents of the area to wholly embrace modern production methods in order to tackle the challenge of household income so as to ensure that poverty is driven out of people's homes.
Now, that's what we want to deal with. Because Donglobo is not necessarily wealth. You can have tarmac road, but people have poverty near the road.
During the celebrations, the president handed over dummy checks worth 1.6 billion shillings to 6 sub-counties and 1 municipality in support of NUSAF development programs in Omoro district. He also pledged 30 million shillings to the Boda Boda Sacco. Mr. Museveni assured the residents of Omoro district that all schools that had been destroyed by a storm will be re-roofed. While assuring the residents that the road to Moroto is programmed for construction, he used the occasion to rush out to opposition leaders in the district for falsifying facts and for deliberately sidelining the truth.
Now, the opposition MPs from this area, I don't know why they are not ashamed to travel on my roads when they fight all my programs.
Parliamentary Deputy Speaker Jacob Olanya observed that it is God who worked through the president for Omoro to achieve a district status.
There are people here who you worked with. There are people here who supported you many years when so many of us were not yet born. Your historical connection with the Omoro people is solid, and we should find time to celebrate it all the time.
Omoro woman member of parliament Catherine Lamwaka attributed her victory to the support that she got from President Museveni when he campaigned for her at 2 public rallies.
I was campaigning in Omoro district in a meeting at State House where you invited us. I requested you to come and do for me 2 rallies in the district. And you came and talked to the people and they complied accordingly. I felt it's very important that today when I am thanking the people of Omoro, you should be present in person because you were the chiefs.
The celebrations were preceded by a service led by the Most Reverend John Baptist Odama, the Archbishop of Gulu Diocese, who emphasized forgiveness, reconciliation and unity of Ugandans. He condemned corruption and human trafficking. Earlier, President Museveni visited the site where the 1.6 billion main administration block for Omoro district that is about to be roofed is being erected. The project is expected to be complete early next year. I'm Dennis Blair Kalanzi in Omoro district.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight. Moving on, nurses are demanding for a slot in Parliament to represent their demands. They also want a salary increment to enable them handle the current state of health ratio. Uganda's nurse-to-patient ratio stands at 1 to 11,000, which is below the recommended ratio by a World Health Organization. The demands were raised as nurses celebrated the International Nurses Day in Ntungamo District. Ivan Kawa and the team have a full report.
The International Day of Nurses has been held in Chamate Secondary School Playground in Ntungamo District under the theme, "A Nurse is a Voice to Lead, Health for All." The country has a nurse-to-patient ratio of 1 to 11,000, below recommended figure by World Health Organization. This means 11,000 patients seeking health services are attended to by one nurse.
As a matter of urgency, the wage bill for recruiting nurses should be increased. And not only the wage bill, but the structure for health should be implemented.
About 67,000 nurses are in the country, of which approximately 23,000 are employed.
For us to recruit more, we take note of the numbers that are currently on the streets, over 35,000, and we also take note of the very constricted numbers of midwives, only at 4,978.
Nurses are now demanding for a representative in Parliament. increase in remuneration, and improvement in working conditions.
Like us nurses as a profession, that as per now, we would look at specialized nursing in this country. We don't have specialized nursing. Instead, we are just training every kafuyo. We call it kafuyo.
My appeal to the nurses, please, Uganda is growing. The economy of Uganda is now one of the fastest growing in the whole world. And it is growing because we don't eat seeds. Even when we are hungry, we don't cook the seeds. We eat a little bit, but we keep some money for planting. That's how we manage. That's why the economy is growing. If we had not worked on these roads the way you see them, the way you drove from wherever you came on good roads. If we had not worked on them, this economy would not be growing.
The International Nurses Day is celebrated in commemoration of the birth of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing in the world. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Nurses.
Now, Bishop Emeritus of Sebei Diocese, the Right Reverend Augustine Salimo, has died. He passed away Saturday morning at Mengo Hospital after a short illness. The 69-year-old Salimo was the first Bishop of Sebei Diocese in December 1999 and retired in 2015 after handing over to the current Bishop Paul Kipto Masaba. He is credited with building the diocese from just 40 churches to 100 churches, most of which are now constructed with permanent materials. The late Bishop Salimo, who was a teacher before joining the church, helped start several schools in hard-to-reach areas and drilled boreholes for people resettling in lower belt of Kapchora and Kwen districts, where he also acquired about 300 acres of land for the church. He was an ardent advocate against female genital mutilation and started St. Peter's Girls' School to support girls against FGM. Bishop Salimo supported many community empowerment projects in the diocese, including distribution of over 200 heifers for zero grazing. There will be a funeral service at All Saints Church, Nakasero on Tuesday at 9 a.m. and other services will be held at CP Akidiakonri on Wednesday and All Saints Church, Kapchora on Thursday. Bishop Salimo is survived by Zelda Salimo and other children. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Moving on, Bishop Nana Obiri Abor has advised the Christians not to spend too much time in church praying to God while spending time working in order to make their lives better. He said this at One in Christ Ministries International in Bunga in a church service that he attended. Take a look.
A number of Christians in Uganda spend a lot of their time in praying instead of working, leading to increased poverty in their families. Now a visiting bishop from Nigeria, Nano Billy Yobor, wants Christians to balance their prayer time and work.
How to help themselves, how to help their nations. You see, we put everything onto maybe the leader of a country. We can also help. Some of the things that happens within our lives and within our country is our fault. We shouldn't blame it on the leaders, because individually, instead of spending time working to pay taxes, we spend time maybe 24 hours a day sitting in the church house. God wants us to worship him, but he has given us time to do that.
He discourages divorce, especially among pastors who are supposed to be models to the rest.
Divorce only comes under certain terms, maybe out of adultery, or I think the other one is out of maybe when there's violence and things like that. That's what I know divorce really brings divorce. Other people might have their own intentions of doing that. As I sit here, I cannot be the judge of how somebody divorces his wife or not, or his husband or not. But I feel divorce is not the right thing to do, especially as a person or a Christian or a believer. There must always be an arbitration. There must always be a way of trying to resolve the situation.
Bishop Nana Bill is on a 10-day working visit to Ugandan Christians. Michael Bakablindi compiled this story.
Now, members and supporters of NRM party in Nangabo sub-county in Wakiso district have been asked to continue working together to enable the party marshal more support. This was during a meeting for the NRM members under the umbrella Nangabo NRM family, aimed at thanking those who worked tirelessly during the visit by President Yoweri Museveni in Kasangati, Nangabo sub-county, Wakiso district recently. Details follow.
Supporters and members of the National Resistance Movement Party, Nangabo Sub-County, Wakiso District have been commended for being united. They were commended for the rousing reception offered to President Yoweri Museveni during his recent visit to the area at the invitation of Sheikh Sulaiman Gugwa. This was during a meeting held at Nangabo, also attended by the Deputy RDC in charge of Kasangati, Justin Mbabazi, among other NRM members from Wakiso District. During the meeting of Chadondo Saza headquarters in Kasangati, members were grateful for the unity displayed in growing the party in Kasangati and Nangabo sub-county at large. Sheikh Sulaiman Gugwa, who invited the president to Kasangati, said he is a religious leader but also a Ugandan who appreciates good things done by government. UNAS Special Envoy Zephania Kiza Seninde appealed to NRM supporters, especially in Kasangati, to continue working together as a team and solicit support for the party, and he announced that in the forthcoming general elections, he will compete in the mayoral race of Kasangati, Nangabo.
Now, investment and industrialization in Kayunga district has led to the destruction of forest reserves by individuals who claim ownership. This was disclosed during a locust visit to Wamale, Badger and Kiluula forest reserves by the Commission of Inquiry into Land Matters. Take a look.
Chagaba Ronald, a board member of Kayunga District Land Board, says many people are rotting in jail because of land disputes in the district.
Abalala bali makumira kokotero mukayonza mugambe makokulu nakabango abana ave bachage makumira luzira katayigwa nga twatudde wano tunzo okkeisa ale ntuddamu n'enkyanga tumazeeyo n'olwekyo si forest zokka nena amataka amalala ga public abantu baapulayinga neyo muli mu time y'okuba nti mukigusa omuntu n'afuduka n'entene wagamba wonna wange muveewo kyekiri wano ekiwuula mundu zeziriwo.
Senior land officer in Kayunga district Ahindisiwe Julius was tasked to name officers behind the issuance of titles in Galilaya.
Are you denying that they are titles?
I cannot say I'm denying, but I am not aware.
Are you sure that there are no titles?
I am not 100% sure.
So what do you know as a senior land management officer? Because you see, you also have to be serious. I have a whole big file like this of titles. So if you come and say you don't know that they are titles, I begin to wonder whether you know your job.
From this side, my lord.
It's not from this side. It is how does the title come out? You have already had complaints. If you've had complaints, did you write to anybody to say, by the way, this is a forest, don't title it?
But for that, no, I'm not sure about it.
Senior Fred, a district councillor, says many people come with special orders alleging that they are from big offices.
Njagala kutegeeza okitiibwa omulamuzi oddeyo otegeeze pulezidenti w'eggwanga olw'okwagala obukulembeze mu ggwanga muno nga NRM. Abantu bano bagiwagidde nnyo naye amaziga ge balina abantu bano abaavu yeereesa ebizibu. Titles ezo ezajja
Semialo read a number he alleged intimidations over forest reserve land. He says efforts of reaching the National Forestry Authority were effortless in regard to the contested land.
0313 30 0800. Ndagalo nyambe eva mu State House Mbu bwenkubirwa.
The commission is to continue interacting with those willing to give out information about the forest encroachment.
I hope that the citizens will be kind enough to continue with the candid manner in which they have approached us when we were in the field. This is not our first and last visit here. We are going to come back. We are going to come back, and we will endeavor to come back within this month so that we can actually understand these issues much deeper. If it's true that some NFA people are involved, we want to know who are they, how did they get involved. That has to be found out. It is serious because, but again, as you can see, it could be a paradox that one NFA person is keeping a blind eye. The other NFA person who is supposed to be protecting the forest is actually prevented from protecting the forest legally.
7,000 hectares of forest reserves in Kayunga district risk encroachment if no action is taken. Sudat Kai, UBC.
That was a story on Kayunga losing forests to investors, but more will be seen and taken care of. Now, some Good Samaritans have stepped up efforts aimed at supplementing government's programs by establishing a home for a few of these to care and restore their hope. This follows continued neglect of widows and the elderly by a number of communities. We have more on the story.
This is Mercy Elderly Home that was started by the founder, Widows Intercessors Ministries from Christian Life Church, Pastor Ruth Mwagalwa. Among the 4 elderly widows found in this home is a Miriam Nakakande, 90 years, from Champisi, Nakaseke district. Miriam Nakakande lost her 2 children and her mother plus her brother's son, who was looking after her during the 1980 Liberation War.
Nalukaloza okufumba emmere nga baliwo abakyala ku miriraano abakyala abalokole nga bandijukira ngenda ndya be bajja ne bannaaza era nga bajja ne bannaaza n'okunjoleza.
Every elder person here has a story to tell. Mariam Namulondo, 85 years, from Kapeke Mukono, has a terrible cough and intestinal complications. She became needy and helpless after her maids disappeared.
Bola nkankana ekintu kinzia nenkankana nnyo akozi baabula byaleta abakozi n'abakozi baaleta balyanga buli sente nali n'okubba ebintu abamu n'abajja ebisogwa abaleetera abanfumbira emmere.
Margaret Nabende, on her part, has partly lost her hearing and sight. She can only respond when one shouts. She came from Buhoro, Nakaseke, and her caretakers say she's above 100 years. Nabende and Fina Nabakoza are in the same situation. They both lost their hearing. Nabakoza, who tried to deny being interviewed, could not remember her years, only to say she can no longer hear what people say. Both of them narrate the state they were in to end up in this home.
Nubugwadde bwankwata omubi yayadeye mukiro nemukuba
byonogera sikyabishobora amagezi ganzigwamu olumbe neronkwata nerontugombora okumalisa wa 7 ngo ndi mufu. Era baali batuusize n'embogo za kunzinga awo Mukama nankwatako nanziza waggulu.
Their lives had changed for the better until one of them recently succumbed to cancer of the throat.
Kakati Nina wakiyo. Nina wakiyo. Watu wanaza era wanaza ne wali wanaza.
Nyambaza bwambaza. Banjoliza boliza. Sina kyenjula. Senga nafadda omuntu osibe njala notofa.
Koledde birungi mugani we wawundi nyo yagira tankoledde birungi nayimba koledde birungi temutenda naye njaza kundera aluta tabwa.
These women are deep in the villages because of being abandoned. Despite their condition, these elderly widows are sexually abused.
Most of them, we have 2 of them. One, she was 100 years of age. She was abused, sexually abused. She was raped. And after 6 months, she died. And now we have another one. She's 86. She was raped and dumped in the forest. And we picked her there. And she's there. She's now a disabled woman. We are looking after her.
Looking after such people is not an easy job, but requires a calling, love, and perseverance.
We spend for the food and the rest. We spend about 150 per week. Because I'm a pastor, we live by faith. Faith in God. And also I say I have friends. Here in Uganda, I have friends. They support me.
This ministry needs over 600 million Ugandan shillings to buy land and construct a bigger home to support more elderly widows. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting.
Such a beautiful story, people transforming and making a difference in the world. Moving on, the Rotary Club of Kampala Day Out is constructing a classroom block for Bugweri community at close to 300 million Ugandan shillings. Now, Butende Church of Uganda Primary School in Busoga Sub-Region is the beneficiary of the initiative under I Read project. The area education officer, Tigawalana George, appealed for more infrastructure support to schools and institutions in the area. Take a look.
Busoga Sub-Region is facing a problem of poor and old infrastructure in its schools, making it difficult for children to attain quality education. It is for this reason that the Rotary Club of Canada and Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak, in conjunction with Rotary Club of Uganda, have put a classroom structure for Butembo Church of Uganda Primary School in Bugweri.
You think you know? It's a slow lad.
Masagari Richard from Rotary Club of Kampala Daybreak urged parents to give their children a good foundation by ensuring better structures for a better learning environment.
I Read is the Institute for Rural Education and Development, a Canadian based NGO that is based in Canada, that has constructed several schools around to improve access to early childhood for our children so that we can learn much better.
The District Education Officer, Bugwere District, Tigawarana Geoffrey, hailed the Rotary Club of Kampala for the support aimed at eliminating illiteracy in their region. It says learners have been facing numerous challenges, including studying in wobbly structures and sometimes in the open.
Previously, in this place, children have been studying on the veranda and under trees. But we are very happy with the I Read and the Rotary International for this offer, and we are ready to make use of it.
It should be noted that the government is currently rehabilitating and expanding old schools and also building new ones, at least in every sub-county. Tanaba Kenneth compiled this story.
The National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, invites the general public to review and scrutinize the environmental and social impact assessment report for the proposed Kingfisher development projects. The project involves the development of the Kingfisher oil field located in Chikube district and feeder pipeline transporting crude oil to the delivery point in Kabale in Hoima district. The major components of the project include oil production and water injection wells, central processing facility, flow lines, water obstruction station, feeder pipeline, and supporting infrastructure. Copies of the report are available at the following locations: Written comments should be addressed to the Executive Director, National Environment Management Authority, Ginger Road, Kampala by 15th May 2019. NEMA, ensuring sustainable development.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. In our business news, the East African Community member states have committed to collaborate in the oil and gas industry. This was the just concluded 9th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition in Mombasa. Various stakeholders from the public and private sector concurred that collaboration and proper management of the oil and gas resource is critical in enhancing the region's socio-economic transformation. Sigoa has more on the report.
The 9th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2019 came to a close in Mombasa, Kenya, with the EAC member states committing for more collaboration. Partnerships in the oil and gas sector will ensure that the bloc attracts investment in the exploration, development and production phases.
We are saying we should not allow any other country partner state to remain behind. We all move together as a bloc. And this spirit of this cooperation started with the founding fathers of Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania, but subsequent administrations have kept the dream alive by working towards inclusion of Burundi, Rwanda and South Sudan into the East African community.
There is a need to harmonize the approaches by the East African states. Approach to national content, approach to revenue management, as well as the technical aspects, studying our reservoirs, understanding them, the development scenarios. When you look at the discoveries in Kenya, in Turkana, they are very, very similar to the discoveries in Uganda, in the Albertan Graben.
Held under the theme East African Region, the destination of choice for oil and gas investment opportunities to enhance socio-economic transformation, various stakeholders from within the region and beyond highlighted the importance of the petroleum sector and proposed sustainable ways of harnessing the resource.
If revenues are eaten up through costs early enough, you may get very little profits, or even no profit. If it is a minus profit, even governments which say they own the resource will not get anything. Controls are important prior to doing anything, so that all irrelevant expenses to the venture should be disallowed.
East African states, our doors are open. Now we have a pipe from Uganda to Tanzania, oil pipe. Our brothers in Kenya, let us think more. What else can we have with Tanzania? For our brothers in Burundi, in Rwanda, let us discuss other areas. Yeah? We have many areas to cooperate. Karibuni, our doors are open, really.
Cognizant of the fact that Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania are moving into the field of development and commercialization phase of the petroleum value chain, issues touching on local content, safeguarding of the environment, protection of land rights, transparent revenue management and sharing mechanisms, as well as stakeholder engagement and grievance management were overemphasized. In Mombasa, Uganda announced its second licensing round for oil and gas exploration. The new development is seen as timely and necessary in boosting the resource volume.
Those who had delayed and who were on the edge, who were procrastinating whether to invest here or there, now they know this Uganda business is too serious. Seriously, that's where to go and put up a hotel. That is where to go and put a school. That's where my hospital project should be. That's where my big agricultural farming place should take place.
Now we are in full throttle speed to develop the infrastructure, the pipeline, the refinery in Uganda. These infrastructure are there to develop oil and gas for us. So when we license now, you see that when you put a pipeline in place, it cannot be there without volumes to transport. So the more exploration we get, the more investment we attract in exploration, the better for us to make sure that this infrastructure is going to have the volumes to sustain them for a longer period of time.
The 4-day conference concluded with stakeholders optimistic that with proper management that is transparent and accountable, petroleum resources in the region can provide an impetus for socio-economic transformation. Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Mombasa, Kenya.
In our international news, gunmen have killed 6 people, including a priest, as mass was being celebrated in a church in Dablo in northern Burkina Faso, officials said. The attackers said the number between 20 and 30, then burned down the church. The town's mayor, Osmain Zongo, described panic in the town as other buildings were burnt and the health center looted. Jihadist violence has flared in Burkina Faso since 2016, and this is the 3rd attack on a church in 5 weeks. Fighters affiliated to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group, as well as the local Ansarul Islam, have been active in the region. Now, last month, killings at least 6 people, and earlier in April, 4 people died when a Catholic church was attacked in a nearby village. Now in our sports news, the stage is set for the first ever Nile Special 5-a-side football qualifier, whose zonal and regional qualifiers are done awaiting the final in Kampala next weekend. Our reporter has been following the 2-month-long tournament and now reports.
As part of its Uganda United campaign that aims at building up the upcoming AFCON tournament at which Uganda takes part, Nile Breweries, through its Nile Special brand, initiated a football tournament which is played 5-a-side. The nationwide tournament has now reached its tail end after regional qualifiers at various locations around the country. The latest action in the regional qualifiers was played at Kasangati, with 8 teams from the central region taking part. 4 teams, including Vision Club and Club 1, earned the ticket that takes them to the final, whose winner will represent Uganda at the Nile Special Africa 5-a-side football tournament in Tanzania.
The winners from Uganda will have a chance to participate with the rest of Africa, where we've got the Africa Fives. They will have a chance to meet with our brand ambassador, who is Samuel Eto. And through this, we've also engaged more consumers, where you can take a picture with our Samuel Eto.
The other finalists were decided at regional qualifiers in Fort Portal, Mbarara, Jinja, Bushenyi, and others from northern Uganda. The final in Kampala will have 16 teams. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
Now, the 5th of the National Motocross Championship has provided its worthy thrills and spills at the Victoria Racetrack, Garuga. Minus the Orland brothers, who are away in the US, the honors to amass points and also entertain fans were largely on the young shoulders of Fortune Sentamu, who didn't disappoint on his way to winning the 125cc category. He was followed by Ali Omar Bobo, while Wazir Omar finished 3rd. In the 85cc category, Walid Omar was unmatched and was followed by Kilian Wekesa and Malcolm Lubega. William Blake Jr. is expected topped the 50cc category, closely pursued by Pascal Kasozi and Miguel Katende. Ismail Muchibi bettered his colleagues in the MX2 category, while national team captain Maxime Van P resigned supreme in the MX1 category, in which Fatou Chigwendu finished 2nd. Now, this championship on a rainy day attracted a fairly good crowd that used the occasion to celebrate Mother's Day.
Everybody should celebrate Mother's Day. We are all born by women. The problem is I no longer like it so much because it depresses me. My mom passed on. It's no longer as fun as it used to be.
Celebrate Mother's Day is because it's a special day to all mothers, women that gave birth, and other women, parents, and all of that. So there's no reason not to celebrate it. Church all have these mothers in the world.
What I like about Mother's Day is because she gave birth to me and she takes care of me and takes me to school every morning. And I love my mom very much. Every time, sometimes when I'm annoyed, she comes and she gives me a hug.
Since Mother's Day is still ongoing, a happy Mother's Day to every woman out there, and the mother actually. Now, St. Mary's Boarding Secondary School Chitende outsmarted St. Noah Girls Zana School 56-45 in the girls basketball final played at Mbale SS. This was during the climax of the 2019 Fresh Dairy Secondary School Games in Mbale District. St. Noah won the opening quarter 11-9. But from then on, Chitende played like a team possessed till the climax of the game. Sandra Nambirige recorded a game-high 15 points. Winfred Akelo followed with 12 points. Melissa Chiribanya had 10 points, while the duo of Maria Awidi and Aisha Namakula each had 2 points. This achievement has landed the team a milestone of representing Uganda at the East Africa Secondary Schools Games in Tanzania, which the school hierarchy says it's worth a toast.
Isn't it? So congratulations to everybody, our players and the coaches and administrators and staff. Thank you so much for this. You work so hard to have it. That this one marks the beginning of our East Africa. Yeah. Lugero lutandika butanzi nsubira lugero lutandise bulungi twongere kutendekebwa twongere okukola byonna byetwetagisiza. The sky is the limit. Twasobola okuwangula ebikomo byonna atekateke ninga mukimanye mu defense bulungi basira mu ba champion atera mukizeemu n'olwekyo kiraga amaanyi ge mutaddemu ate n'obukodyo obw'amaanyi nnyo okusobola okuba aba opponent bammwe abatabadde bangu n'olwekuba mubasiikako you are better mwasobodde okuwangula. Congratulations. Thank you.
That's all we had for you today at 10 p.m. Thank you so much for watching UBC News Tonight. We will take a look at the headlines for the last time. NASA's demand for representation in Parliament. Bishop Emeritus Augustine Salimo is dead. EAC to collaborate in oil and gas sector. And in our sports news, motocross fans pay tribute to their lovely mothers. Thank you so much for watching UBC News Tonight. My name is Sharon Chomdishe with Nakakuni Elizabeth on Sign Language. From the team and I, have a lovely night.